Hello, everyone, welcome back to the Impact Report. Please subscribe and like my videos. Today, we take a deep and comprehensive look into one of the most dramatic developments unfolding in Eastern Europe, the crisis in Minsk, where top Belarusian generals are challenging President Alexander Lukashenko at a moment when Russia is rapidly moving forces toward the region. This situation has ignited global attention, not because it is unexpected, but because the pressure against the long-standing Belarusian leadership has reached an unprecedented level. As the internal command fractures and regional alliances shift, many observers are trying to understand what exactly is happening behind closed doors in Minsk. In this detailed review-style explanation, we break down the exterior dynamics shaping the crisis, the interior motivations driving the Belarusian military command, the performance of political and military structures under pressure, the safety features or stabilizing mechanisms still holding the state together, the unique selling points or core strategic advantages that Belarus uses to navigate turmoil, the price or cost of this crisis on the region and its people, and finally a conclusion reflecting on what the future may hold. On the exterior level, the situation in Belarus appears calm on the surface. Official statements from Minsk attempt to project control. State TV continues broadcasting confidence, and Lukashenko publicly insists that loyalty within the armed forces remains intact. Yet behind this exterior, satellite images, leaked documents, and eyewitness accounts from military insiders reveal the opposite. Units once fully aligned with Lukashenko have begun expressing open dissatisfaction. The exterior environment around Minsk is also changing rapidly as Russia continues transporting military assets toward the Belarusian border, while Moscow insists these movements are part of routine alignment procedures. Many analysts believe this is a direct signal to the Belarusian generals now questioning Lukashenko's leadership. Tanks, armored vehicles, and airborne units have been spotted moving through Smolensk, Bryansk, and toward key strategic corridors that connect Russia to Belarus. Externally, this creates an atmosphere of intimidation, pressure, and geopolitical tension. Belarus finds itself between a silent rebellion growing internally and a powerful ally watching closely and possibly preparing to intervene. When examining the interior dimension, which you requested to be big and deeply explored, it becomes clear that the most significant developments are taking place within the minds, motivations, and strategic calculations of the Belarusian military leadership. For years, Lukashenko maintained loyalty through a combination of political pressure, personal influence, and reliance on Russia. However, recent decisions including pushing Belarus deeper into Russia's military orbit, allowing Russian missile systems to be stationed in the country, and ordering Belarusian troops to engage in operations near the Ukrainian border have caused growing resentment among senior officers. Many generals feel that Belarus is losing its sovereignty. Internally, documents show that private discussions among the general staff have intensified, with some expressing concerns that the Belarusian army is being transformed into an extension of Russian forces. Several commanders argue that Lukashenko's decisions no longer reflect Belarusian national interest and instead place the country at risk of becoming entangled in a broader conflict. Inside the military bases, dissatisfaction is more visible than ever. Some commanders have refused to sign new cooperation agreements with Russian units stationed in Belarus. Secret meetings reportedly took place between high-ranking officers who believe that Lukashenko has compromised the independence of their armed forces. These officers argue that the military should serve the Belarusian people, not foreign interests. There are also internal disagreements about Lukashenko's decision to reshuffle military leadership positions, which many see as an attempt to remove disloyal officers and replace them with individuals personally loyal to him rather than loyal to Belarus. Soldiers inside barracks have quietly discussed uncertainty about being involved in regional conflicts that they believe do not serve national priorities. The internal pressure also includes economic concerns. Salaries have not kept up with inflation. promotions are uneven, and resources have been directed toward fulfilling Russian-led joint operations rather than strengthening Belarusian defenses. Inside the presidential palace, Lukashenko's advisors have warned him that military trust is eroding. Intelligence briefings reveal growing frustration among field commanders, while mid-ranking officers believe that Lukashenko's long rule has reached a critical point. Internal communications from the Ministry of Defense acknowledge that motivations among soldiers have declined sharply compared to previous years. The reports indicate that many within the army feel they were pushed to support Russian military initiatives without proper consultation or national debate. These interior tensions have now reached the highest levels, creating an unprecedented division between Lukashenko and the core of the Belarusian military establishment. When assessing performance, the Belarusian state apparatus shows signs of stress. Government ministries are attempting to maintain normal operations, but the internal cracks are becoming visible. The military's performance in drills, coordination, and readiness assessments has shown inconsistent results since the beginning of the crisis. Psychological pressure affects officers' decision-making capability. Some units perform well, but others show hesitation or delays when responding to orders. Lukashenko's ability to command effectively is deteriorating as more officers begin questioning his instructions. Performance in communications between the military and government leadership also seems strained, with reports of delays, misunderstandings, or refusal to comply with certain directives. Public confidence in the leadership remains unstable. Surveys conducted in private academic groups show an increase in the number of Belarusian citizens skeptical of Lukashenko's alignment with Russia. In terms of international performance, Belarus's reputation is weakening as other countries observe its internal instability. Safety features within the political and military system serve as the stabilizing mechanisms that prevent immediate collapse. Belarus has a multi-layered internal security structure, including the KGB, the Special Rapid Response Units, the Presidential Security Service, and loyalist battalions trained specifically to protect the president. These forces are designed to neutralize internal threats and maintain order. Safety features also include Russia's political guarantee. Moscow provides military backing that signals to potential rebels that any sudden move against Lukashenko might trigger intervention. Additionally, Belarus has institutional structures that promote loyalty, such as mandatory oath renewals, internal surveillance among officers, and political oversight committees embedded in military units. The safety features extend to economic mechanisms that keep funding flowing to key sectors such as defense and security forces, ensuring they remain operational even under pressure. These stabilizing mechanisms delay internal fragmentation, but cannot eliminate the growing dissatisfaction entirely. Belarus's unique selling points, or the advantages that historically kept the country positioned as a stable geopolitical actor, include its strategic geographic location between Russia and Europe, its well-trained military compared to other regional states, and its ability to act as a gateway for trade and security cooperation. Belarus possesses a robust industrial base capable of producing military vehicles, tractors, and electronics essential for regional logistics. Another unique feature is the country's long-standing ability to maneuver diplomatically, maintaining ties with both Russia and, at times, the European Union. Even during times of political tension, Belarus served as a negotiation host for international agreements. Its unique identity, culturally connected to Russia, but politically striving for autonomy, has allowed it to navigate regional power dynamics. The disciplined nature of its armed forces and its location along major transit corridors make Belarus a valuable strategic partner to Russia, which explains why Moscow reacts strongly whenever Lukashenko's leadership shows signs of instability. The price of this crisis, however, is enormous. Politically, Belarus faces the most serious internal challenge to Lukashenko's power in decades. The economic cost includes declining investment, increased sanctions pressure, rising inflation, and disrupted trade routes. Socially, many families worry about the possibility of Belarus being drawn into larger regional conflicts. The cost to the military includes declining morale, internal suspicion among officers, and the risk of future purges. The geopolitical price is even higher if the situation escalates. Belarus may face deeper Russian involvement or even enforced integration proposals. On the other hand, if the generals gain influence, Belarus might experience political restructuring that could alter its alignment with Moscow. Either scenario carries significant risks. In conclusion, the crisis in Minsk represents a turning point in Belarus's modern history. The challenges to Lukashenko's authority from top generals indicate a profound shift in the internal balance of power. As Russia moves forces toward the region, the stakes grow higher. Whether Belarus will remain under Lukashenko's tight control, transform under military influence, or become further absorbed into Russian strategic planning remains unknown. What is clear, however, is that the exterior tension, interior dissent, performance struggles, safety mechanisms, unique selling points, and high price of instability all intersect to create one of the most volatile moments in Belarus's political landscape. The world now watches closely, wondering if this crisis will become a temporary episode or the beginning of a historic turning point for Minsk, its people, and its future direction. Thanks for watching. Stay informed with global conflict news.